Disaster management in Jharkhand. Such accidents that happen suddenly and result in widespread loss of life and property are called disasters. Disasters is classified into natural disaster and man-made disaster. Natural environment includes such components of environment that has been created by nature and such as air, water, soil, tree, plant, animals, etc. The environment alienated from human activities is called natural environment. Disasters that occur due to natural causes like earthquake, volcano, cyclones, storm, tsunami, drought, flood, etc. are natural disasters. Disaster caused by human affairs include war, nuclear incidents, chemical incidents, etc. It is also called social disaster. Now, keeping in view the enormity of disaster, more emphasis is laid on efficient management of the disaster rather than taking action on the occurrence of disaster. Efforts are made to reduce the intensity and calamity by management measures. Jharkhand has been a victim of various natural and man-made calamities, and it is very necessary to strengthen disaster management to deal with them. Earthquakes, floods, droughts, cyclones, effects of tsunami, lightning, mining accidents, chemical accidents, industrial accidents, forest fire, elephant attacks are the calamities that the state has to suffer with. Now, from earthquake point of view, Jharkhand can be kept in a low risk zone. The states can be placed in zone 2, 3 and 4 in terms of earthquake sensitivity. Now, under earthquake zone 2, we have 7 districts which are Ranchi, Lohardaga, Khoti, Ramgarh, Gumla, East Singhbhum, West Singhbhum. Under zone 3, we have 15 districts which are Palamu, Garhwa, Latehar, Chitra, Hazaribagh, Dhanbad, Bokaro, Giridih, Koderma, Deoghar, Dumka, Jamtara, Godda, Pakpur and Sahibganj. And the 4th zone, we have 2 districts which are the northern parts of Godda and Sahibganj. Now, for floods, 14 districts of Jharkhand are in the grip of flood, which are Sahibganj, Godda, Pakur, Dumka, Dhanbad, Deoghar, East Singhbhum, West Singhbhum, and Hazaribagh, which are the most vulnerable ones. The main reason behind floods is the state in the increasing water level of the rivers due to monsoon rains. Palamu, Garhwa, Latehar are also affected by floods due to increase in the water level of Son River and North Koel River. Paddy crops in the states are adversely affected by floods, which negatively affect the food grain system of the state. In some districts, floods take the form of a disaster. House, roads, bridges, etc. are seriously damaged. In northeastern region of the state that are connected to the drainage system of the river Ganga are that areas that are seriously affected by the floods. During the rainy season, water starts flowing on the roads in the cities like Ranchi and Jamshedpur. This is urban flooding, which affects the transport system. It has a negative effect on human health due to the rise of various diseases. Now, drought is categorized on the basis of less than normal rainfall in an area. Generally, 25% less rainfall is called than the normal is called normal drought. 25 to 50% less rainfall is called moderate drought, and less than 50% of the rainfall is called severe drought. If an area receives less than 75% of the normal rainfall, it takes the form of a calamity. Now, in northwestern part of the state, drought often takes the form of a disaster which adversely affects the economy of Palamu, Garhwa, Latehar, Chitra, and Lohardaga. Palamu is the most sensitive district from the drought point of view. In the year 2010, the states faced severe drought. During the period, 12 out of 24 districts of the states were in the grip of severe drought. The proportion of rainfall in all these districts remained less than 50% of the average rainfall. To deal with the calamities like droughts, there is a need to espouse dams, ponds, doabs, and dobas, and watershed management, soil conservation, control over deforestation, even selection of proper crops also matter. People of these areas need to be made aware of all these and should be trained. Now, lightning falls on the ground. Falling on the ground during rainy days is called lightning. It caused numerous deaths every year in Jharkhand. Even cattle also die in coming in contact with this. Palamu, Chitra, Latehar, Gumla, Ranchi, Giridih, Koderma are the districts of the state that are mainly affected by this catastrophe. To deal with the problem, a special training module has been created by Sri Krishna Public Administration Institute in the state, which is in Ranchi. To reduce the loss of life and property, people need to be given training on how to save themselves from coming in contact with lightning and by staying in houses during rain and not standing under trees, staying away from electric and wire poles. Now, mining mishaps, about 40% of the total mineral reserves of the country are accumulated in the state of Jharkhand. Mining of minerals is a major activity in the state economy. During Mining both natural and man-made tragedies take place. Now, several coal mines in the state are on fire, and this fire is spreading rapidly. This includes major areas like Jharia and Ramgarh. Downfall of mines, labor falling into mining pits, and health problems arising due to mining are the major problems that occur during mining. Along with training the laborers working in these areas to deal with mining accidents, there is a need to develop a quick release system at the time of mining collapse. There is also a need to encourage laborers to use masks to save themselves from pollutants generated during mining. Now, fire in forest. Forest fire is a major aspect of climate and it plays an important role in affecting the climate of the forest areas in the state. Jharkhand has an abundance of forest and dry deciduous forest remains are mostly found here. Breaking out of fire in the forests during summer seasons become frightening and it takes the form of a disaster as well. The main reason for fires in the forest are collision of trees against one another by wind, burning of fire for light during the collection of mahua, tree wood by residents, and due to carelessness of tourists who throw burning matchsticks in forest. In the month of March and April, people living in the forest light fire at night and early in the morning to pick mahua, and sometimes this fire spreads all over the forest. Most of the incidents of forest fire occur in northwestern and southwestern part of the state. This includes districts of Palamu, Latihar, Garhwal, Chitra, Hazaribagh, Simdega, Gumla. It is necessary to work at all levels, that is legal, administrative, to prevent forest fires, and awareness among people is also required. Strict provision should be made in tourism laws, and awareness should be spread among the collectors who go into forest to collect mahua to extinguish all the fires lighted by them. Along with this, administrative levels such as such trees that have become old should be cut down, and the new trees should be planted in their place. There is also a need to construct fire watchtowers, dams in the forest, and to divide the forest by roads. Now, wildlife conflict, attack of elephants. Elephants in the state animal of Jharkhand and its number is very high in the state. Most of the elephants are found in the forests of Palamu, Dumka, Saranda and Hazaribagh in Dalma. Incidents of attack by wild animals are often heard in the state and it becomes a major problem in the lives of the people in the settlement area. The main reason for the attack by elephants is the human interference in the natural habitat. Human interference in the forest has increased, while on the other hand, elephants have got access to rural areas. Besides, deforestation have forced them to migrate from their natural habitat. Apart from this, being attracted to fragrant mahua flowers is one of the main reasons for elephant attack. The problem of elephant attack can be seen in Koti, Simdega, Gumla, Latihar, Palamu, Chitra and Hazaribagh districts of the state. To prevent the attack of elephant, first of all, people need to be made aware of interfering in the natural habitat of animals. When elephant attacked villages, people drive them away by sound of drums, fire, smell of chilies, etc. Now, disaster management in Jharkhand. To deal with any kind of disaster, arrangement have been made in 3 stages, that is pre-disaster arrangement, during the disaster and post-disaster arrangement. In pre-disaster arrangement, preventive measures are taken. In preparedness for disaster, the level of nature of disaster, its forecast, warning systems, awareness among people are included. During any disaster, emphasis is primarily given on rescue work, taking people to safe places and supply of basic necessities like food, water, medicine, clothes, etc. Post-disaster arrangement include rehabilitation of affected people, reconstruction of damaged areas, and reoperation of normal life. The National Disaster Management Authority has been constituted by the Government of India at the national level under the chairmanship of Prime Minister. Following this, State Disaster Management Authority headed by Chief Minister at the state level and District Disaster Management Authority headed by the District Magistrate at the district level has been constituted. Now, Jharkhand State Disaster Management Authority. Jharkhand State Disaster Management Authority has been constituted on May 28, 2010. This authority has been constituted in the light of Section 14(1) of the Disaster Management Act of 2005. Under this section, Governor of the state has been given the power to constitute a State Disaster Management Authority. The State Disaster Management Authority is headed by the Chief Minister and can have a maximum of 9 members. The main objective of this authority is to create plans, strategies for disaster control at different levels and to create a sustainable project for the post-disaster reconstruction and restoration of normal life. In the state of Jharkhand, State Executive Committee has been constituted to assess State Disaster Management Authority. It is headed by Chief Secretary, that is the ex-officio chairman of the state. SEC is constituted as per Section 20 of the Disaster Management Act of 2005. The committee also coordinates their execution, coordinates between national policy and plan related to disaster and the state plan for the same. The committee also coordinates their execution. Now, the main function of the Disaster Management Authority is to work for planning, coordination and implementation of national disaster management at the district level. The main functions of the Jharkhand State Disaster Management Authority are as follows: preparing for a plan for speedy action on disaster, to develop infrastructural capacity to mitigate disaster in the state, to develop an information network at state, district, block, and panchayat level so as to take necessary information can be collected during disaster and accordingly appropriate action can be taken to develop geographical information system for disaster reduction and to establish coordination between administrative institution, voluntary organization and other organizations to spread awareness among general public about the appropriate guideline for disaster prevention and to prepare training programs. Now, the Jharkhand Disaster Management Plan. Under the scheme, Jharkhand State Disaster Department has been constituted in October 2004. Its aim is to provide quick relief to the people affected by disaster. A state disaster action fund in which 75% of the contribution is of the center and 25% contribution is of the state government has been constituted for proper operation of the relief work during disaster. In the year 2009, the State Disaster Management Plan has been prepared by the Disaster Management Department. Under the National Disaster Management Act, Emergency Operations Center is being set up in all the districts of the state and is being linked via VSAT satellites. In the year 2005, National Disaster Management Act of 2005 has been implemented in the country. Disaster Management Plan to take appropriate measures to prevent disaster, to consider measures to prevent disasters, to allocate funds and to establish warning systems to deal with disaster management and to assist in the agencies dealing with disaster management. Now, NDRF, that is National Disaster Response Force, has been formed in the year 2006 at the national level and rescue works during disaster. Similarly, the State Disaster Response Fund is formed in the state level. From 2007, Sri Krishna Institute of Public Administration, Ranchi, is running a disaster center management which aims at providing training on various aspects of related to disaster. This institute is provided financial assistance by the state government for conducting training programs. In the year 2015, school safety program was conducted in the state in collaboration with the National Institute of Disaster Management. Jharkhand Space Application Center has been set up by the government to share important information related to remote sensing, cartography, and space at any time of disaster. In order to have advanced knowledge of disaster and its effect and reduce its effect in the state, a dedicated department named Disaster Management Knowledge Demonstration Center, that is region, is being developed, for which educational and technical works are being conducted in the following institutes. Now, for DOT, we have the Birsa Agricultural University, mining is ISM Dhanbad, earthquake BIT Meshra, flood Drought and Forest Fire, Jharkhand Space Application Center, and industrial disaster, we have Mekon, Ranchi coordinating the efforts. Now, Disaster Management Knowledge Cum Information Demonstration Centers, that is region, it has been established under the Jharkhand Disaster Management Plan. Its main work is to make country, community, and people awareness of various types possible disaster and the damage that may be caused by them, and also to make them aware of the various techniques and equipments that are required to reduce the effects of the disaster. These centers have been developed according to the different calamities like flood, drought, mining disaster, forest fire, etc. These centers, based on the local need, act as a tool for providing information, communication, dissemination methods, and spreading awareness. Now, district level disaster management. District level management committee has been constituted in all 24 districts of the state under the chairmanship of the district management or district collector or deputy commissioner for disaster management at the district level. Other members include the CMO, that is Chief Medical Officer, Chief Engineering of Water and Irrigation Department, Veterinary Officer, and representative of non-governmental organizations. The main work of this committee is to prepare district disaster plan according to the need of the district and to implement it during the disaster. The committee helps in training and disaster management teams at the district level and spread disaster prevention measures among the general public through various means. Now, disaster management at the block level. A disaster management committee under the chairmanship of the BDO is being formed at the block level. Other members include social welfare officer, health officer, rural water supply officer, and officers from police and fire services, representative of non-governmental organization, and senior citizens. Now, the committee helps in the district administration preparing and implementing the disaster management plan according to the needs of the block. This committee conducts mock drills in artificial ways for the common people to save themselves during disaster and spread them the measures to deal with disaster. Now, district disaster management at village level. A disaster management committee is formed at the village level, whose chairman is the head of the Gram Sabha. The committee works for the preparation and implementation of disaster management plans at the village level. The committee conducts mock drills in an artificial way for the common people to save themselves during disaster and spreads the measure to deal with disasters. Now, we have covered most of this, and this chart will be quite useful for revising. Now, cold waves and fire is probable in all districts. For every other disaster, we have categorization according to. Now, drought is also probable in all these districts. So is lightning. So is cold wave and fire. Rest of the disasters, we have a prone areas, stampede and crowd related industrial catastrophes. So this would be quite useful while revising. That'll be all for this video. Thank you.